So I give you all a little feedback about what's going on in the Middle East because you simply cannot know what's going on in the Middle East. It is impossible for you to even shape an opinion or to have a correct opinion. Maybe you are from Turkey. So if you are from Turkey and you're watching, I actually don't think so, but then I think you are very close to reality with your opinion. So since I love Turkey and I stayed in Turkey for almost 4 years already, I'm gonna tell you what's going on in the Middle East right now. So first of all, I have to tell you that Turkish men and Turkish people in general right now are way more intelligent than the people in Israel and then in the United States. 30 million Turkish and Kurdish men would go, or like let's say they would wear boots instantly and to go in a war against Israel. And they would do it with a smile in their face. That's the absolute reality. And this is exactly what makes Turkey the most powerful and most strong country. And they have very high testosterone, right? They're very smart, they're very strategic. But at the same time, they're very kind, they're very realistic also, right? They're listening, they're not making stupid things, they're not making stupid problems, like other people in the Middle East that are not listening to their allies currently, right? So basically, yeah, United States and Israel, they are allies, but the problem right now is, and we could see that like what happened recently, right? Israel was attacking the airbase. That was 2 days ago. I don't know when I will upload the video, but I was set in Premiere now already. And that was not communicated with the United States government. And also, they actually had clearance. The clearance was coming from Syria, from Turkey, and from the United States. But the Israeli idiots, they attacked the airbase anyway, which is absolutely insane. And you could see it in the face of the United States representative or spokesman for foreign affairs that is currently in Turkey. Could see it in his face. Like that was not a very smart idea. You know, it was actually written all over his face that was not a very smart idea because he knows it. He knows about Turkish people. He knows how they are thinking. He knows about the military power of Turkey. So I'm doing the video just to tell you, don't be afraid. Israel is totally in place right now. Israel is not the strongest superpower anymore in the Middle East. At the same time, at so many fronts right now, they're busy, so they're very, very vulnerable. Turkey is a much greater power or superpower than Israel in the Middle East, much bigger also strategically. They're a whole another level. You know, it's not like 20 or 30 years ago where Israel has had no competition in the Middle East. Things they changed already, right? So I'm just telling you, don't be afraid. Turkey is already making alliances with it was Pakistan and Saudi Arabia, and now Syria and Bangladesh are thinking about joining too, which actually would be very great, right? So in case that India wants to do something stupid, because they have to be, India has to be put in place. That's a very important thing. So if Bangladesh is joining and then Pakistan is also in there, actually, Turkey is doing everything in favor of the United States. Right now, this is what I have to tell you actually. Turkey is doing everything in favor of the United States, not in favor of Russia, not in favor of China, not in favor of Israel. Turkey is doing everything in favor of the United States. This is what you have to understand. It's actually very easy to see, but you will never be able to see that. It's impossible for you, and this is why I explain. They're doing everything in favor for the United States, which is actually a very good thing. They could have attacked Israel already. But Erdogan and Turkey, they are not stupid. They want to be in a good relationship and friendship with the United States, and economically seen, and even they have alliance with NATO. But Trump just left NATO, and then all these X accounts, they were saying, yo, Trump is leaving NATO so that Israel can attack Turkey, but this is so effing wrong and so effing stupid, doesn't make any sense at all, right? So right now, actually, Turkey is in a position to attack Israel. Now it's the opposite way, as you are thinking. And it's also that you can definitely know when you're from the United States. I mean, when you're from the United States, you're not that smart anyway. But this is just what I'm telling you, what I can tell you. Right now, you know, if somebody, let's say, will give a green light to Turkey because Israel is just not learning and Israel is just not listening, or the current crazy leading party or administration within Israel, and Netanyahu is facing a lot of backlash. Already, he just got booed out recently during a political meeting, right? They're not so happy with what he's doing. So I'm telling you, that's my theory, or it's what I feel. Trump, of course, you know, he is the president of the most powerful nation. Of course, he has to think about how or what would be if we lose Israel in the Middle East? How can we remain the superpower in the world as the United States? And there's still a big Jewish and Israeli community within the United States. So I'm not saying that because I'm anti-Semitic or anti-Israel. I'm just saying even if Israel is gone in the Middle East, Israel is still there, if you get what I mean. And they're already talking about joining their secret intelligence. But, and this is what I feel or what I'm thinking, it will be totally under the rule of the United States. Like the United States will command the Israeli intelligence. Okay, so those are the rules. And this is what I think, and this is what I feel actually, you know? Yeah, so if something happens to Israel, then you know already Trump needs to secure the Strait of Hormuz in the Middle East, you know, in order to remain the superpower, so China doesn't become the superpower. Like personally, I don't want China to become the superpower. You know, if I would have a choice between the United States and China, I would choose the United States personally, because I see a lot of good things right now happening in the United States, if you ask me, more than I see in China, definitely. So I'm gonna stick with the United States personally. You can you can do whatever you want, but I was in China, I was in the United States, I was in Turkey, I was in the Middle East. So therefore I got a picture, I got a feeling of how the things really are over there. And I think with Trump leaving NATO, it is how it looks to me that Trump is already 50% at least kind of planning without Israel. He cannot really depend anymore on Israel and its current administration, in my opinion, because he's not listening. But the last days or after the attack, it got very quiet around Israel, right? Because probably they are now realizing, oh, we did a big mistake, right? And actually, if you are a Jew and you're like, yo, let's attack Turkey, for me that is actually very anti-Semitic, I have to say, because you're calling out for the extinction of your own race in the Middle East. So this is actually what it is, anti-Semitic, I have to say.